Why are we able to understand these things? I know these things, but you don't? You want to be a member of Congress, someone who votes on national policy. At least I give Zohran credit. At least he ran for mayor and he understands that he sucks at foreign policy. Ma'am, you are a member of Congress. War powers is in the hands of the members of Congress. Funding for the military-industrial complex goes to the members of Congress, which is why you guys voted for the Ukraine funding. You've been asked about it. But you think this is not a big deal for you to talk about? And then she goes full-blown Katie Porter and has a meltdown over the idea of being asked follow-up questions. We deserve better leftist leaders than people who are cowards like Cori Bush, who just vote for whatever the military-industrial complex tells her to. Why? Because she don't want the funk. The Vanguard boys would never forgive me about being right about John Fetterman. You guys remember the Vanguard? They made so many diss tracks against me. They were like, man, Nick Cruse he using the Palestinian movement as a way to attack the Democrats. That's what they said. They were so furious. They will never forgive me for being right about John Fetterman. The same way they will never forgive me about being right about Zohran Mamdani. The same way they will never forgive me about being right about AOC. That just won't be a thing. I'm glad you've been enjoying this. I know this has been a ranty ass stream. Hope you guys been enjoying this 2-hour stream. That I did not plan. The Zohran segment was only supposed to be like an hour, maybe 45 minutes. But there's so much I had to break down to explain why he's a clown. You understand? That's why that segment went a little bit longer than I planned. And I want to show this segment here, because the theme of this whole stream, and this is how we're gonna. So Zoya, this is like the theme of the stream. The theme of the stream is we deserve better leftist leaders. I don't know that we deserve better leftist leaders. That's the theme. Zohran Mamdani selling out the Cubans, selling out the Venezuelan people, selling out the Palestinian resistance. I oppose that. And people don't like the fact that I oppose Zohran Mamdani. I oppose him because I believe we deserve better leftist leaders. We deserve better than Cori Bush. Cori Bush is running against an AIPAC goon, a pro-genocide, one of the most corrupt Democrats in Congress. And I understand, man. I get it. I get it. This is not my district. I get it. If you hate the person that Cori Bush is running against, I forgot his name. Let me look up his name. I forgot the fucking guy's name. I'm gonna look it up real quick. The AIPAC goon. Oh, Wesley Bell. Wesley Bell has took. He took $12 million from AIPAC. Anything I can find. Oh, look at this. Here it is. This is from Track AIPAC. If you guys don't know, you guys know Track AIPAC used to be a Elizabeth Warren think tank. They used to go by Leftist for Elizabeth Warren in 2020. So they're a Democrat operation. But just because they're a Democrat operation don't mean these numbers are fake. This man Wesley Bell took $12 million. Jesus Christ. $12 million. So leftists are excited because Cori Bush is running for Congress again. And Cori Bush put out a statement. St. Louis deserves a leader who is built different. That's why I'm running to represent Missouri's 1st District in Congress. We need a fighter who will lower costs, protect our communities, and might make life fairer. I'll be that fighter. I know it sounds good. And I know people would love to get rid of Wesley Ball. But I'm telling you guys, I am not supportive of any of these Democrat scum, especially ones like Cori Bush, who voted to send billions of dollars to Nazis in Ukraine instead of sending money to our brothers and sisters who need it in St. Louis. She essentially supported the Ukraine proxy war. Why? Because she made the same devil's bargain that Zohran Mamdani made. She made the devil's bargain that, hey, we have to support the empire. We have to support NATO. And because we had to support NATO, we had to support the imperialism. So the capitalist class will give us permission to implement a welfare state. So this, to me, right here, is disqualifying. I'm not telling people how to vote. I'm not telling people what to do. I haven't told anyone not to vote for Zohran Mamdani. I'm just telling you guys, I'm done with this shit. There is no way I'm ever will be supportive of this fraudulent strategy of trying to shift the Democratic Party to the left, because the only thing that happened was the Democratic Party shift these people to the right and have them supporting war. We deserve smarter leaders. Here is Cori Bush explaining why she supported the Ukraine war and warnings. This is going to kill your brain cells.
That would be a very real risk. And for me, by the masses, the threat of I think the other part of that, though, is the threat of U.S. troops by the masses moving to the ground was a very real thing. At least that's how it was presented. It had been presented to us in Congress, and for me,
presented by who?
Presented by the administration. That that would be a very real thing. So did we want to keep U.S. troops from having to go to Ukraine? So that was the thing that people were weighing.
So
we deserve better leftist leaders. What's up with this anti-intellectualism? You tell me that you're a member of Congress, and it's clear you have no idea what's going on in Ukraine. Cori Bush essentially said she voted for the Ukraine proxy war because she was told to by the Biden administration. And she voted to send billions of dollars to fight Russia because the Biden administration threatened her and said if she don't do that, they will have no choice but to send United States troops to fight in Ukraine. So instead of being a leader and telling Joe Biden to go fuck himself, Cori Bush said, oh yeah, I'm gonna go along with it. Because, oh yeah, I don't want you to send U.S. troops to fight Russia. So I want Ukrainians to fight and die for them. Hey, do you understand how crazy this is?
White House presented, just to clarify, the Biden White House presented the issue to you as if you don't supply the weapons that they say are required, that could involve that might mean that U.S. troops would have to go into the combat.
If we don't, not saying that if we don't supply the weapons, it was if you all don't support these bills, then that could be the outcome. And so for many, and I can't speak for everyone.
Oh, come on. Let me try to reload this real quick. What's up with what's going on with X right now? Let's see if hopefully I can get this to work. What the hell? Come on, X. Come on, man. Why is this thing still spinning? What the hell? All right, let me see if I can get this video to work again. That's crazy. Ah, damn it. Let's see if I can find a YouTube version. This is crazy. Why does this not? Why the video stop working? Is the stream still on? Damn, I don't know what the hell is going on
and
here.
I can't speak for everyone. But the question, when I look at my own district, and I think about those who often are the ones who end up with the least amount of help, the least amount of services, often don't have what they need when they return back. I wanted to support my community.
So you support your community by sending billions of dollars to fight a proxy war against Russia? We deserve better leftist leaders than this, guys.
So that's what that was about, making sure that we weren't sending the black and brown bodies to go and do this bidding, and then using the money and the resources to go and do that. I can't speak for everyone, but I know that was what some people were thinking, and so I can't.
So you guys understand that the Biden administration realized how dumb Cori Bush was. So in order to get Cori Bush on their side, he said, hey, if you don't vote for this Ukraine package, we'll have no choice but to send U.S. troops to fight in Ukraine. Cori Bush is so stupid. She realized that was not going to happen because that would have been a political death sentence for Joe Biden. So if you were the leftist leader, you use that time to call him out on his bluff. You call him out publicly like, hey, man, Joe Biden said we had to support this war in Ukraine, or he told me he's going to send American troops to fight against Russia. You're supposed to blow the whistle on this kind of shit. You're supposed to reject the framing coming from the Biden administration and be a leader. And explain how the crisis in Ukraine was started by the United States and they supported the Maidan coup. How the fascist Zelensky government was shelling and killing ethnic Russians. They banned the Russian language. They banned opposing political parties. When you look at the Luhansk, Donetsk region, these are regions who voted overwhelmingly to become part of Russia, and the Ukrainian regime retaliated against them because of that. So when Russia invaded, that was them liberating Luhansk and the Donbass, who didn't want to be part of the fascist Ukrainian regime who worshiped the Banderite Nazis. Why would ethnic Russians want to be part of a state that banned the Russian language, that banned the right to collective bargaining? They didn't. They want to be part of Russia, who didn't ban those things. And if you are a leftist leader, this is what you explain to the people. And you notice that none of them did. Not a single one of these progressive Democrats explained why the left is opposed to NATO, a never-expanding, aggressive military alliance. Noam Chomsky explained that as long as NATO exists, the United States and the West will continue to pursue conflict and look at other wars. Why? Because they had to legitimize and justify their salaries, justify their budgets. They need to justify this 5% military increase. That's why this war with China is coming. That's why the war with Russia they won't allow to end. It's your job as a leftist to explain to the American people that war is a racket. And they will wage it endlessly, even if it's a losing war, because the goal is to expand the never-ending profits of the arm manufacturers who donate and prop up corrupt assholes like Joe Biden. How is that so hard for you to say, Cori Bush? How is that so hard for AOC to say? How is that so hard for Zohran Mamdani to say? We deserve leftist leaders. We deserve better leftist leaders. We shouldn't fucking just be okay with this anti-intellectual nonsense from Cori Bush, from Zohran Mamdani, who apparently doesn't know what the fuck the Hannibal Directive is. You guys see how the professional managerial class, I explained this many times before, they want to create a suitable, dumb left for the capitalist class. They want you to be dumb like Cori Bush, who don't know anything about NATO. They want you to be dumb like Jamal Bowman, who didn't even know what Crimea was. You remember that? When Bowman was asked by the Gray Zone, he didn't know what Crimea was. He didn't know what Donbass was. He was voting for a war. He had no idea what the fuck he was voting for. But people think I'm unreasonable because RBN demands better, more intelligent leftist leaders. I understand that not everyone's going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. It takes years of study. It takes hard work. You have to be disciplined to the level where I don't even believe I'm at yet. I am not demanding perfection for everybody, but you goddamn guarantee it that if you put up your hand and you're gonna say you're gonna be a leftist leader, you better have your head on your shoulders. We're gonna have immense expectations for you if you think you're gonna be a leader. Not for everyone. It's okay if you get something wrong. We're in community with each other. We're here to coach each other. If you get, let's say you get something about Cuba wrong. You get something about Venezuela wrong. Let's say your Marxist analysis is sloppy. We can work on that. But if you raise your hand and you want to say that we want people to donate to me, you want to be a leader of the left, we demand better than this trash that we see from Zohran Mamdani and Cori Bush. Sorry for yelling, but I get very passionate talking about this kind of stuff.
Of services often don't have what they need when they return back. I wanted to support my community in that. So that's what that was about, making sure that we weren't sending the black and brown bodies to go and do this bidding and then using the money and the resources to go and do that. I can't speak for everyone, but I know that was what some people were thinking. And so I can't speak for everyone. I didn't have those conversations, but that was just a very real thing. So
clarify one thing on that. Sorry, I forgot to put my microphone in my face. Your thinking at the time, when these appropriation bills came forward in terms of arms for Ukraine, was that by approving arms for Ukraine, you were lessening the likelihood that, as you put it, black and brown, soldiers or people that had joined the military would end up getting deployed to Ukraine? So that's how the administration framed it. So I assume, through no fault of your own, you're not somebody who spent a whole lot of time probably focused on the issue of Ukraine over the course of your career. You have other interests mostly, right? And so they presented it to you, or your interpretation was that by providing those munitions, you were basically saving, or No. Okay. So
No. It wasn't.
What do you mean? No, that's exactly what you said. Are you so dumb you forgot what you just said? You explained to everyone, to the entire world, that the reason why you voted for the Ukraine proxy war is because you wanted to prevent United States soldiers from getting involved. That's how that's how ridiculous your politics is, that you believe Biden. So now, when he explained it to her and when he laid it out, she's like, damn, that does sound fucking stupid. So she immediately panics, and watch how she ends the interview.
Providing munitions. It was supporting these bills to hold off Russia, supporting these bills. Was there funding for
munitions?
It was for what the funding was for. This was a way.
She don't even know what she was voting for. I'm not going to get mad at anyone who hate Wesley Bell, but you will never catch me in a million years supporting an anti-intellectual like this. Someone who votes for shit the military-industrial complex demand her to vote for without her asking any questions whatsoever. You had no idea what you were voting for, Cori. I'm not invested enough in electoral politics to tell you guys how to vote, but I will never in a million years. Never in a million. This is embarrassing. This is the anti-intellectual left that the PNC class want to cultivate.
These bills, was there funding for
munitions?
It was for what the funding.
Exactly, Zoya. That's such a great point. So she only care about imperialism as long as black people and the people in her district not helping. Like, do they even think? Do they understand how batshit crazy their ideology is? Man, we in for a long stream today, aren't we? Let's continue.
Before, this was a way to stop us from sending U.S. troops who, for me, what I was already dealing with in my district were mostly black and brown and marginalized folks that we were trying to help It was to stop that from being the next occurrence. That's what that was for.
But those bills provided munitions.
But with the I've given you a lot of time, and so and for you to turn this into a Ukraine thing was not, So I.
What do you mean turn it into a Ukraine thing? You mean asking you about your vote? Cori Bush couldn't even talk about the issue of Ukraine for 3 minutes. Because once you calculate the amount that Michael Tracy is speaking, she's only talking about the Ukraine conflict for 3 minutes. But she can't even talk about it for 3 minutes without saying, oh, come on, shit the topics. I'm done talking about this shit. Bro, we do 2-hour live streams about Ukraine, explaining the complexities of the issue. Think about all the conversations we had that hours long because we weave into the details. These people who run for Congress without knowing anything about what's going on in the world. She has no idea about what's going on with Ukraine. Do you guys think she understands the complexities about what's going on with Taiwan and China? Do you guys think she understands the complexities between the U.S. de-dollarization plan that BRICS is creating right now? And this goes back to the question I asked earlier on in this long-ass stream. Why are we able to understand these things? I know these things, but you don't? But you want to be a leader. You want to be a member of Congress, someone who votes on national policy. At least I give Zohran credit. At least he ran for mayor and he understands that he sucks at foreign policy. Ma'am, you are a member of Congress who, based on I know it's not really a thing anymore, but war powers is in the hands of the members of Congress. Funding for the military-industrial complex go to the members of Congress, which is why you guys voted for the Ukraine funding. You've been asked about it. But you think this is not a big deal for you to talk about? And then she goes full-blown Katie Porter and has a meltdown over the idea of being asked follow-up questions. So I understand if you hate Wesley Ball or Bell, whatever the fuck his name is. But we deserve better leftist leaders than people who are cowards like Cori Bush, who just vote for whatever the military-industrial complex tells her to. Why? Because she don't want the funk. She don't want the fight that I want. She wants to fight. I want to fight. The people who really on the left, we want to confront the capitalist class over these inconsistencies. Zohran Mamdani doesn't. Cori Bush doesn't. So what's the appeal of supporting these people who, by design, create a dumb, ineffective left, which is why the ruling class is 100% okay with these people? Which shows, and we talk about the failure of the strategy with Zohran putting out weak centrist statements, and they are still hated by the establishment. Cori Bush followed the direction of Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden and supported the NATO proxy war, and in return, they still primaried her ass. So the strategy is not even coherent. You failed to shift the Democratic Party to the left. The Democratic Party shifted to the right. You guys failed to gain more squad members because you have no coherent plan to take on AIPAC. It has been a failure across the board. But you want to know what TYT wants you to do? You want to know what people who have way more clout than me want you to do? You want to know what Hassan Piker wants you to do? The most streamed, the biggest left streamer in the United States, probably the whole world. He wants you to continue this same project for another 10 years and another 10 years until you got gray hairs, just like Bernie Sanders, doing the same old shit, running Democrats and hoping to shift the party to the left, bending on imperial talking points, and accomplishing nothing for the American working class as you smear Cuba, Venezuela, and people who actually got stuff done for their people. Now, this is a classic, and this clip here will always live rent-free in my mind because years ago, this clip was the exact moment I lost all faith in Cori Bush. Now, Cori Bush I don't know why she decided that she's going to be a left leader, because she has no idea what the fuck she's talking about, man. And it's painful. She exists to make the left look dumb, just like Jamal Bowman doesn't know what Crimea is. They have no idea what they're talking about because they want to present this idea that leftists are dumb and ignorant. So here's Cori Bush being asked about her tax policy by Fox News, and look at how she presents herself. And this is someone who wants to be a leader of the left, who can't even explain leftist ideals in a coherent way.
Pay their fair share.
Yes, well, they should pay their
what
fair share.
is a fair share? What percentage?
So you're saying that you're saying that they're paying their fair share is what you're saying.
No, I'm asking what percentage is a fair share?
Their fair share, the same. If a third of my money is going to taxes, then I think a third of their money should be going.
It
to
does.
Taxes. Well, it does.
I'm trying to understand because you realize the effective tax rate on the poor is less than it is on the rich, right?
Okay, so first of all, I'm not the poor. I'm very close to that line, but I'm not the poor.
Okay, so
what are you doing?
The effective tax rate on the middle class is less than it is on the rich, correct? What fair share would you like to change the tax rate to on the wealthiest, what percentage of Americans, so it's a fair share?
So let's say the wealthy 1% could pay, let's say if they paid, let's just give them 45%.
We don't have to hear from these people, but do you guys want this person to represent the left? And if you have someone who's actually intelligent and actually understood these basic issues, you can easily destroy this man's argument because these effective tax rates, they don't pay these taxes. And whenever they say that, don't you know that rich people pay majority of income taxes, you immediately fire back and ask them, why do the rich people make most of the income in this country? And this is the failure of social democratic policy because they believe in taxing the rich. The fuck you guys? We want to control the means of production. We want to suppress the interests of the capitalist class. We want to end the exploitation of labor where they steal the profit value of the working class. This is what you say when you're grilled by these kind of questions. But when you read no theory, when you have zero theory, when you have zero grasp on whatever ideology you think you represent, you look like an asshole when you're grilled by the capitalist class. Why won't Fox News? And you guys see what happened when the Hill had me on. You guys see why the corporate media banned me from the corporate. They don't want to hear from intelligent communists. They want a dumb fuck like Cori Bush to make us all look bad. Because you want to know what the result of this segment was? You had all these Fox News people and everyone on the right say, look at these dumb socialists. They don't know how tax rates work. You guys see how the socialists, they don't know anything about economics? You guys see how, despite how it may make you feel about Cori Bush winning, having her as a representative of the left does us more harm than good. She is a failure of a leftist leader, and this is why she lost in the first damn place. This is why she failed to accomplish anything substantial for the people in St. Louis. And this is why, like, the theme of this stream is, we deserve better leftist leaders. Can you imagine what Shama Sawant would have done to this Fox News fuckhead if they came at her like this? All right, I need to end the stream. I'm over 2 hours in. The whole theme of this stream, it turned out to be, was we deserve leftist leaders, and never allow these DSA scumbags, the same people who cancel me and the people who hate my guts because I've been critical of Zohran. People hate me because I've been critical of Cori Bush. I know this doesn't apply to you guys. That's why you guys watch me. But these people exist. There's a reason why our channel does pathetic numbers compared to the TYT. Look at the amount of views that the Vanguard gets now. Like, the Vanguard gets like tens of thousands of views every video. So you guys realize that the dumb left make up the vast majority of the leftists in the United States. We are the minority being gaslit by these fucking idiots. And they will never forgive me for calling them out for their stupidity and leading the left off a cliff. The Vanguard will never forgive me for calling out the fact they supported John Fetterman because They lied to their audience about Fetterman, about Democrat candidate or Democrat candidate. But that's how you succeed. If you want to be a big leftist channel, you just pick a Democrat campaign. Hey guys, don't you know we gotta support Marianne Williamson? We're gonna support the old lady Zionist millionaire. She's the champion of the working class. 5,000 subscribers gained. That's how you do it, fam. If you push back against their bullshit, you get put on blacklists. People call you red, brown, and lions, tankies. And that's why you don't see me on these people's show no more, because I'm not going to do this stupid dance. We got to support Zohran Mamdani. Oh my God, Andrew Cuomo's so evil. No, it's not going to happen. And because I won't play that game, that's why RB has been put in the position they have.